Eugee is a rising talent hailing from New Orleans who's influenced by the 90s and early 2000s pop culture. And Eugee's with us here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
So, you've got quite a diverse background, don't you, with
Yeah,
different kind of medical careers.
yeah.
So, what prompted you to get into music alongside that?
Really, I wanted to be a pop star. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Growing up. And, I started really singing when I was 16 and had a couple of things, pop off, as you would say. Um, and I feel like I went away to college and that was, I still had my little band from New Orleans at the time. Then basically Katrina happened, Hurricane Katrina. And then, we all separated. I was in school in Chicago and I started doing music again under the name Eugee. And that was like what my junior, senior year of college. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and so I'm Nigerian. And so, in most like, immigrant households, they're very strict about, you have to finish your studies
Yeah.
and, they're very specific, like, they only really recognize you doing something important with your life if you're like a doctor or a lawyer, an engineer. So
Yeah.
that whole time during college, I was, biology major. But as things were, I guess we were getting really popular in Chicago. I was like, I think I'm really going to try to do this. So, usually when you're going to apply to med school, you would do that in your junior year. I didn't because I was like, I'm going to do this music thing. So I graduated and I was doing the music thing for a little bit, but it was hard. As you know, it's very difficult. You have no money. You can't really, get the quality of recordings that you like. You can't really push yourself as much as you'd like to. So it was about a year after college, graduated, and I was working at a restaurant, the Cheesecake Factory, a big restaurant on here, and I was really poor.
Oh, yeah.
I had run through most of my savings and, making $10 a day. And, because after I graduated, my mom, not like she cut you off, but it's like, okay, so you graduated now, like now you got to handle your bills and things,
Yeah.
really, really poor, really, really depressed. And I was like, I guess I'm not going to be able to do this. So I started focusing, going to med school because I was like, wow, I have no money. So, also, I'm making a lighthearted situation of it, but also during that time, I was in a really deep depression, because things weren't going the way I wanted to go. And I said to myself, well, you tried the music thing and you failed. So, you're going to go to med school and that's it. Close the books. You are no longer a singer. That part of your life is done. So, I went to med school and people who've known me, in grade school, they'd always say, hey, how's the music? And, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, no, 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 like I don't do that anymore. And
Yeah.
well, now, like, that it's over. And I'd say that's about a good 10 years, because med school is about 4 years. And then residency is 3 years. And I started noticing that it wasn't right with my soul, like I wasn't really happy. I did well in med school, did well in residency, but there was a part of my life that was missing. It was very depressing. I think that whole was music. And so towards the end of my residency, I started, doing some open mics around town. And it was maybe a year or so after that I really got back into UG full time. That was 2019. And I've been full steam ahead since then. And, once I got back into the music, my vitality came back. I was more so myself. So yeah, that is how I am a primary care physician and also a singer in
Yeah.
spare time. So yeah.
Yeah. And for your music, you've been heavily influenced by pop culture from the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
So, how do these influences reflect themselves in
Yeah.
your music style and the way that you present yourself as an artist?
Yeah, I feel that way in basically my song and the songwriting and the structure.
Yeah.
Because today it's 2 minutes or less, or like less than 3 minutes for sure. I remember when I first started, got back into UG, my songs are like 4 or 5 minutes, and they're like, okay. I got a couple of radio interviews in the US, and they were like, well, we're gonna put this because we don't have the time, and just hearing things from management being like, it's got to be TikTokable, this and that. And so my structures are very like, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, maybe a
Yeah.
couple like, and because that's what I'm used to, that's what we did, So as I've gone along though, I have understood and learned how to shorten things now. So, I think my songs are usually hitting around the 3 minute and 30 mark, 3 minute mark, because I understand now that if I do get a chance, like someone is going to help me out and play it on the radio, I want everyone to hear the full song. So I'm trying hard to have it too long. I'm trying to make sure that we're getting to the point as soon as possible. Like this one song I have now, I don't have a bridge. There's no bridge. It's just
Oh,
verse, chorus, and outro. So
yeah.
trying to work with the times, and keep up with it. But yeah, definitely growing up in that time where everything was very formulaic. I was listening to the radio the other day and I was like, oh, this song is kind of long.
Yeah.
Even I was like, oh, this is going on a little bit. Okay. Like, so yeah, it has really heavily influenced most of culture now. You really won't see a song that's more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds. If it's 4 minutes, you're like, damn, what are these people, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
true, isn't it? Now, you've got a new music video and song for Temp, and it's creating a buzz.
Yeah.
So, what's the inspiration behind the project, and what can we expect from it?
So I got Tempe was it's such a great story. So I guess the Eugee, I guess that I've been, I've had many eras in my
Yeah.
life. um, I think the era that I was, I guess, sticking most to these last, couple years was dance pop. And I still do my dance pop, I love it. But for many years, I've heard people say, hey, like, you should do Afro beats, because I'm Nigerian. And I'd be like, maybe I'm a dance pop, But I went to visit my friend and my producer. He's actually from Morocco. His name is Hyper. He's so good. You wouldn't believe how young he is. So I had gone to I went to Morocco. I've been knowing Hypers for what, since 2000, I think early 2019 we started working together. But I had gone to visit him for the first time ever because we're mostly online, So I went past February to Morocco to meet up with them, and he's like, Eugee, we're doing dance beat, we're doing Afro beats, this is what I'm doing now, so this is what you're doing, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And like that last night that we were at dinner, he like airdropped me the beat, and I was like, oh, and I actually wrote that song on the way back from Morocco to Brussels, which is about a 3 hour flight, and it was because his beats are amazing, right? And
Yeah.
I was so inspired, and a lot of the like the lyrics, for example, like how I say like take my hand, take me to a foreign land, is because I was in a foreign land. I was in Morocco when it happened, and so, I got back, I immediately, because honestly, I had plans to do another Eugee dance pop song this spring, because I'm reviving those songs of mine. And, I remember that when I was in Morocco with him, he was like, well, this is what we need to do. I'm like, I don't know if we can, like, I already have these plans. He's like, you better make it work. And, I was like, well, that makes sense, because I had planned to shoot the music video, whatever music video I was going to do, I knew I was going to do it in Miami. So I was like, well, that would be a good place to do an Afrobeat type of song, tropical. So I got home as soon as I got in the studio, and I remember sending it out to like my team, and they were like, this is the song, like this is the song we got to do. Like everyone was so into it. They're like, it's so new, different. It's really great. And so I was like, okay, that's what we're going to do. I got some dancers. I started working on the dance and everything, started getting the trip together. And it was like, my team is mostly in Dallas. So, buying plane tickets, getting accommodations. It was a lot. It was literally a whirlwind of everything. Because I think like I wrote that song early February, and then by the end of April, we were recording the music video in Miami. So yeah, everyone and then everyone on set, 'cause the song wasn't released officially until late May of this year. So everyone who came in contact with it, they were like, "Yo, this is the song. This is the hit. Do not give up on this. Like you need to promote this as long as possible. Everyone who hears it loves it. It's just a very easy. It's like it's laid back, but it's also gets you pumped, right? It's very tropical summer song, very catchy, and what I also love, not only do I love the story that comes behind it, But I love that I incorporated it's a childhood game basically, and a mix of temperature. So, like I said, I'm Nigerian, and when I was growing up, I lived there for about a year. When my mom was on sabbatical, so around when I was 10 years old. And as school children, we would play, hand games, just games around the neighborhood. And one of the games you play, it's called tempe, and I would liken tempe. It's like as if you're playing rock paper scissors with your feet. So your opponent has to guess. There's only two moves. It's either your legs are like your feet are open, like in a V, or they're closed. So your opponent has to guess that, and it's the best two out of three. If they guess it, like every time they miss, you go up. So it's like tempe is 10. So tempe 20, 30, and if they keep guessing it, you stay on that number until if they guess the third one, then you're done, right? And then you write that number down in the sand, and calculate your total that way. So that's where the numbers are coming from. It's that rise, tempe 20, 30, and handa is obviously 100. So and then I was like, well, it kind of sounds like temperature, and so I was likening it to how I say 20, 30, 40, 50, make a no BF only in C. And what that is referring to is if you're thinking about 20, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, that's kind of cold. But if it's 30 and 40 in centigrade, that's hot. And so that's why I'm like, make a no BF only in C, So it's such an amazing, like I love how I worked in that childhood game, but also with temperature and just like, if you see the album cover, it's me, coming out of this like expensive sports car with like flames all around me, like it's such an amazing song, and it's such a great song. And I love it so much. And I'm just so glad that everyone's enjoying it. And yeah, I really feel like this could be like a big global thing. I mean, I have some connections in Nigeria, and we've got it played out there on MTV Base Africa and Trace in Kenya and everywhere. So, we're doing our best to push it out around. We got billboards all over the US for it, and everyone who hears it like certifies that this is a hit. So, I'm glad to be getting this out, over in the UK as well.
Yeah, it's very exciting. The music industry can be quite competitive and demanding. So how do you maintain authenticity and stay true to your artistic vision in the midst of all those external pressures?
I will say that there have been a couple times when I felt like I had to change. I didn't ultimately, but thinking about when I was doing, when I first started getting back into Eugee full time, one of my songs on the side that I remixed, I did with this amazing rapper out here in Dallas, Lil Ronnie Mother F. And I remember I love the song and I love his verse on it, but that music video was not me. And that was the first and only time that I feel like I had succumbed to them trying to tell me, you got to be this. The styles I had at the time, she kind of like made me feel really bad about myself. She told me that if I didn't wear what she had planned, that no one's going to remember me, that you're going to be forgettable, And I just remember feeling really uncomfortable in the clothes I was wearing because I see myself as a very like classy, like I see myself like Beyonce, like, right? Beyonce is going to have everything out. If she's got a lot of cleavage, she's going to be covered up below. If she's wearing like, her cleavage is out, she's going to have her like legs covered. You know what I mean? Like it's not everything out there. Like I love Megan Thee Stallion, but I'm not hot girl Meg. It's not me, I'm more of, and no offense to anyone who is that way. Like I just know that I can't rock that. Also, my profession, I can't really be out here like, I feel like can't see me. I mean, so it's partially that. So in that video, like I just really felt uncomfortable. And after that, I was like, I'm never going to allow someone to dictate my style ever again. I'm just not, right? So the person that I work with now, she works with me. She's also very classy as well. Her name is India. We're like sisters now. But she basically just takes my idea of style and elevates it. That's what she, and as you've seen, like ever since like all my music videos, I look great. You know what I'm saying? Just like a little bit of sexy there, keep a little demure, like keep them guessing a little bit. So that was one of the times I did that. And then there was a time in 2021, there were a couple like PRs and management teams I've worked with. And, one of them was telling me that they had talked to Columbia and like Universal, and that they kept saying like, oh, like she should sound more like Summer Walker. She needs to do this and that. And I remember in that moment when they came back and told me that, I said to myself, okay, so that means that they're just never going to accept me. And so I'm done. That I'm good. Like I no longer felt the pressure to try and impress them. I said, basically, it looks like no matter what I do, you're not going to like it. So I'm not going to do anything that I'm just going to focus on me and what I want to do. Let them. So after that, I was like, I'm good. I don't care anymore. I'm going to do, and that's when because at that time I was doing a lot of like pop R&B because I love Ariana Grande. If I could be any successful artist, it'd probably be Ariana right now because I love her harmonies, I love the beats, And so I was trying to do that for a while. So I was doing like pop, like dance, I mean pop R&B, R&B. But after that moment in 2021, when they came back with that feedback, I was like, okay, and that's why I said, you know what, I'm going back to Eugee dance pop because people love that, with my songs like I'm the One, Dance with You, they love it. So I started doing
Yeah.
that, just focusing on me. And then, I went into the dance, to the Afro beats because, I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. People have been telling me to do this for years and I'm actually loving it, it fits really well. So yeah, I've had a couple of those. Like, I think I'm even getting some kind of chatter in my ear now. Like, I had asked someone I was working with recently, to see what the people saying, and like, I'm hearing things like, "Oh, like, we want to kind of tone down the Afrobeat. It's like we don't think it's gonna go." That's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. Did you not hear that Burna Boy sold out MetLife Stadium? How are you gonna say the Afrobeat is not hot right now? I don't think so. So, so with that for me went one out the other. Like, I'm not. No, I'm just. You know what? I'm just gonna do me. And I've also kind of accepted to myself, like, yes, it would be great if I could be world famous and Rihanna and all that stuff. Yeah, sure. But I'm not willing to really change myself really. Because like, I had a couple people even recently try to like do a new change the brand. No, this is the brand. This is Eugee. Eugee is a classy, demure woman who is also a career woman, but also makes bomb ass music and also has great music videos. That's it. That's the brand. It's not changing because if you're not on board and you won't like it, that's cool. You don't have to like it. At the end of the day, I'm not starving, right? So I don't have to bend at your will. I don't have to do everything that you tell me to just because you think that you're the purveyor of what's cool. That's fine. I'm going to make my music. There are people that do love it. Like if you remember, there was a recent quote by Adele that was like, who's making the music for the 25 and up year crowd? I'm not making music for TikTok. And that's exactly how I feel. My music really does appeal to people. The youngest I feel like is 25, but really 28 and up because we're the same age, right? We grew up in the same era, the same, music styles and everything. So that's really who is rocking with me. And I'm okay with that. Obviously, yes, the record companies will tell you, you got to get that 13 and 18 crowd. Well, that's not me. I tried and it's not me. I'm not going to do it. And if that means that I'm not going to be, a huge megastar, okay, that's it. But I'm still just going to do what I do. And I'm very lucky and blessed that I have the ability to do that because of my day job. I'm allowed,
Yeah.
I can pick, when a song is released. I can pick how I want my music video to do, how I want it to be, what I want to wear. And that's a blessing, really,
Yeah.
for me. So it would be great, yes, if, society got on board. But if they don't, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I still get to live my dream, as a 12-year-old girl. So I guess, that's all that matters.
Well,
So.
what are you working on at the moment? Are there new projects coming up soon?
Nothing major. So right now we're still working on pushing tempe, because one thing I've learned, because I used to be that artist that was like, oh no, look, I gotta get a new song out in 3 months, like, but you don't really. One thing I've learned and I've heard over and over again, yeah, it may be old to you, but it's new to people who haven't heard you yet. And it's new to people who haven't heard your music from before, right? So we're still working on pushing tempe. I did actually this summer, maybe about a month ago, my producer Hyper, he did send me this track, which is going to be my next Afrobeats track. It's such a great, like, again, tropical but laid back. I don't know if you know about Libyanka. She's a big African artist, and it's kind of got that vibe. So I do have the track. I actually did write the song again on a flight coming back.
Ooh, wow.
I think I'm going to have like an EP called Flights.
Yes.
Because it seems like I do my best writing on flights. So,
Yes.
so I do have the song written and everything, but I haven't gotten to the studio with it yet. So I might probably get to the studio this fall with it, and do that. But right now we're still pushing tempe, because like, I feel like this, even it does take a while for some songs to catch on. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, like people just loved it this summer, but I can also see it blowing up again next summer when it's, been out further, because that happened to Lizzo, she came out with Truth Hurts. I remember downloading that on Amazon in 2017, Amazon Music, and it didn't really pop off till like 2019 when it was in a movie on Netflix. So, I had known of Lizzo for a while, but the world hadn't. So, I also accept that things might take some time to pop off, and I'm really willing to take Tempe all the way because I know this is a global hit. I really do. So, just gonna push that. I'm gonna still work on, the cool songs and just that way I have something ready to go. If I do get picked up. But the other thing I do have that's happening immediately, there's this guy out in Philadelphia where I'm at named Ben Arsenal, really big DJ out here, and he did a remix for Tempe. And he has people from Insomniac Records. They actually are behind the Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas. And so they were looking to pick up that remix, the Tempe remix. So that is something a little bit more immediate that I'll be doing. Hopefully I'll be meeting up with them soon. But yeah, it was really exciting that they are so into it. They're like, yeah, we want to release it on our label, so that's really, really cool to have going on. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Excellent. Well, where can we find all your music and, of course, the music video and song for Tempe?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm heavily on Instagram. My Instagram handle is EUGEE_O. Also, you can find me on Facebook, of course, under Eugee Music. TikTok is EUGEE_MD. And then all my music videos are on my YouTube channel. That's www.youtube.com/UGO. So EUGEEO music. And finally, my website, www.eugeemusic.com. That's EUGEEMUSIC.com. So you can find all things Eugee there and find me on Spotify as well.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been great having you on.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me.